Hey everyone, welcome back to Nova Scotia. Well, it's a beautiful evening here, and I've just had a great time playing with trees. I did film it, so we'll get to watch it. So I just finished making a forest with some balsa fir trees that I collected about a year ago. So let's check it out. So I was really happy the way it came out. Obviously this one, I wanted to have a Y in the path, and it worked out really nice. So here's the aftermath. It'll be really fun to watch these trees develop. Really happy with it. So let's see how it was made. So as usual, my usual dirt is compost and perlite and a little peat moss. So this box is a little bit bigger than the last one. It's 23 inches by 16 inches. And these trees, they all wintered over outside. Balsa firs are extremely tough. They just don't die from cold. And most of them were in the little fruit boxes. So you get about a year with the citrus boxes before they start to fall apart, and they're right at that point where they're falling apart. So I needed to do something with them. But I collected these trees thinking that they would all go into a forest. And they didn't come from the shell pit, they came from a different forest that I've done a lot of prowling around in. And these trees were mostly studded by shade. A lot of the forests around here get really dark from the tall trees, and the young trees don't really get a chance to grow until somebody blows down. So this was the tallest tree, going in first. I always like to have my tallest tree somewhere in the center of the composition. So here's the second tree. This one has a real nice movement down at the bottom of it. So I wanted those two trees to end up at the top of the Y in the path, and it worked out really, really good. I did end up putting a tree between them. That one was the last tree to go in. So Nova Scotia is the land of trees and rocks. And the rocks are really important to these forest plantings. I love collecting them. Almost as fun as collecting the trees. So that's two. This planting has 9 trees in all. These trees all wintered over in a protected area, protected from wind, but they spent a lot of the winter completely buried in snow and frozen. They're extremely cold resistant trees, and it's definitely one of the most prolific trees around here. Every forest has balsa firs in them. So this one's going back in that corner. So since that tree went in the corner, that means that the path would go in front of it. And that broke up the pathway a little bit, made it more interesting, as opposed to both of the paths ending in the corner. I find that it's all about irregularity with them. You don't really want things to be lined up. Like I wouldn't want the both paths to end in the corner. So putting a tree in the corner made it all work out. It seems to be all about the randomness of putting trees in and pathways, because that's just what happens in the forest. So this was the fifth tree. And number 6. And the 7th tree. Here comes number 8. Finishing up the rocks on the pathway. So that tree needed a rock to straighten it out a little bit. There's always one in the bunch. This ended up having quite a few rocks in it. So that left me with one more tree. I wanted it to go between those two in the back, and it was a little tricky getting this one in. Really important now to get it all full of soil before I put any moss on it. Finish up the rocks. That tree in the middle, it also needed a rock to straighten it out. The rocks are definitely your friend when you're making one of these. It's the way to adjust the trees. So I went and collected the rocks this morning for the pathways using a sifter down by the ocean to sift out the big rocks, and just left me with a nice small gravel. I love the way it looks. It's time to moss it up, of course. Do a little fast motion here. All of the forest around here are just moss heaven. Big part of the landscape around here. By far the most fun I've had collecting trees is collecting them for these forest plantings. Really enjoyable. And with that, all that's left is to give them what they crave. A nice drink. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it, because I really had fun. I love every aspect of making these things. It's a wonderful time of year. I hope everyone's having a great bonsai day. And I'll see you next time on Bonsai by the Sea.